Alright guys, welcome back. It is going to be World Elite versus OMG, and we did not get into chat select, so we are sorry about that. We'll see what we can pick up throughout the game. But Rockmar, what are we looking at here as I set up the UI and get the stream sorted?
Basically, we're looking at on the side of OMG Gogoing, picking up that Olaf. He did pick it up several times yesterday. LoveLin on that Lee Sin, very, very popular pickup for him. Also got the Corky as well. Cool picking up his Ari, and Big Pomelo picking up the Fiddlesticks. On the side of WE Gigabyte, we've got Misaya on Cassidon, something he shows an aptitude for in the top lane. Jax, something that has over the last couple of months come more and more into the fore with that Triforce change. 1M on Zyra, we've got WeiXiao on Ezreal, and Troll on that Vi. Something else that in the last couple of months has again come to the fore with several changes that were made in this patch.
God, very similar teams, very similar compositions, very similar ideas of what they're going for a bit later in the game. We're seeing that Olaf that we did see yesterday, actually OMG versus LM was in the semi-finals, and OMG picked up on the Olaf and thrashed a lane up against a Shen, in fact, which was phenomenal to see. Of course, when he does kill minions now, he gets that health back, and he's brilliant at farming, but he does have a little bit of a mana problem, and Jax just scales so brilliantly into the late game that I'm wondering how this is going to go. The aggression from Olaf's definitely going to be strong in the early game, however, but just look at that. There's strong, aggressive, tanky, and damage building top laners. They have very mobile, very similar jungles, very burst damage, very mobile mids, and they've got everyone's very mobile. We're looking at this actually. Arcane Shift and of course Valkyrie in the bot lane on WeiXiao, and Corky as well sitting there. So very, very similar, and of course they've got unconventional supports that have a lot of CC and a lot of heavy lane control under their belts. We do actually see the top lane getting very aggressive on to Gogoing from World Elite side.
Yeah, and I'm being told now that we're looking at the Corky is actually being played by San. He hasn't included his name there, so I'm just going through here. We've got Corky on San. We've got FZZF on Zyra, who's apparently changed his name to Juan. And in the top lane as well, that's CaoMei on the Jax. So for those of you who can't read Chinese, that's who we're looking at in this matchup. I would expect to see quite a fierce fight here in this mid lane. Cool versus Misaya, both very well-known mid laners, and Misaya definitely going to have a hard time in the early game against this Ari.
Yeah, well, Cool. He has been farming above the minion wave with that Orb of Deception. Actually got a bit of help waiting in the back there with LoveLin. I think he's hoping to get a safeguard in and then throw out a shockwave, have a little bit of a turret dive on Misaya before he gets too mobile, hitting up on that Rift Walk. No, we're going to see LoveLin back off a little bit as bigpomelo gets a big jump in at the bot lane. WeiXiao thinking he could get off a few Qs at the very last second with his Arcane Shift, doesn't follow up and get the kill onto bigpomelo, but we do actually see just that bot lane backing off. Now bigpomelo back on that support role. He was actually absent from yesterday's game versus LM, but he's back in this.
Yeah, and very glad to have him back. He is obviously one of the better supports in the world, and it's great to see him back in the lineup, and very excited about what we're going to see out of these matches today. Something to note already: a CS swing in the favour of Olaf in that top lane. Really going onto CaoMei in a big way. Jax having a hard time, but as we see Troll jump in here.
Yeah, certainly the gank is going out. Troll is trying to jump onto LoveLin, but he's taking so much damage for doing so. Down he goes. Jax is going to see if he can follow up onto LoveLin. Double flash going out from both of them. Is he going to be able to dive on him? No! Getting off the Sonic Wave and throwing in to take him down. So it's going to be a double kill for that top lane OMG.
Absolutely, and so much damage going to go onto this top lane, and so much CS lost. You can already see Gogoing 10 CS ahead of CaoMei, now almost 15 CS ahead, and he's going to get so much damage onto that top turret. Or is he just going to sacrifice minions? He is. He's going to sacrifice minions, and I can tell you that CaoMei is going to have a very hard time in that top lane against that Olaf, already level 5 to CaoMei's level 3.
And that aggression still working so well for Cool in the mid lane, keeping Misaya pushed up so he can't do anything tricky. Of course, that mobility will come up at level 6 and they'll be looking for a bit more roaming, a bit more ganking. But Cool's tactic, while it is effective, it does put him in a difficult position. And of course, Misaya's actually keeping up with CS under the turret, knowing the exact timings of getting those CS as the turret managed to hit it. So there's not too much going down. He is going back. We'll see what he picks up on the return.
Absolutely, and something to note as well, Cool, obviously, as you said, being very, very aggressive, but not really too scared about it. Vi's only level 4 to LoveLin's level 5, and LoveLin is, at this stage, a long way ahead in terms of experience, about half a level ahead of Troll on that Vi. So even though he is pushed up a long way, he's level 6, he knows Vi's behind, he's not really too worried about any aggression coming out from that jungle. In the top lane, we do see a little bit of a slap stick happening, a Gogoing versus CaoMei.
Yeah, that slap fist is going to be going on and on into the late game. I do believe that scaling from Jax is just that bit more powerful, but of course Gogoing can bait out his counter-strike just by popping out his ultimate as well. His Ragnarok. LoveLin's trying to go for a bit of a turret dive, actually taking just as much damage as Misaya as he holds the lane out for Cool.
Yeah, and the one advantage I would say that Gogoing has in this top lane is that Olaf farms a whole lot faster than Jax. As we see, wow, Gogoing will go down here from the Ignite, but fantastic response there from Gogoing to turn around and get himself the reckless swing onto CaoMei. Both of them lying dead there under the turret. Very evenly matched at this stage.
Yeah, now what Gogoing I think was trying to do, he noted that turret dive and of course he went for the reckless swing. I think when he turned around he was hoping to get that last reckless swing off on a minion to get enough health to survive that ignite, because of course it is now something that Olaf can do. It just changes up his playstyle so much.
Yeah, and very interesting to see how the reaction times of these players, obviously all very good players, and the reaction times watching this, it's quite a pleasure. So I'm very excited to actually have this. And as I see a comment there in chat, it is a Season 2 fight. It is Jax versus Olaf, something we haven't seen in a very long time, and something that, being a Season 2 player, makes me very, very happy as well. It's going to be a very evenly fought match, and going ham there onto CaoMei right as he dinged level 6 and deciding to pull back. But as we look in this bot lane, Corki not having a good time of it. He is getting fairly shoved. He's under his turret most of the time, having to farm under that turret a whole lot. And Ezreal and FZZF and WeiXiao, should I say, having free reign of that lane at this stage.
Yeah, and this is how a lot of the Chinese teams fight. While they do have big lane pushes, they're able to maintain CS, but the lane pushes allow the turrets to go down, giving more gold to their side. That's the whole sort of focus that they're giving out here. We may actually see a gank coming in from LoveLin to the top lane, and it would be a turret dive if indeed they land that Sonic Wave, if indeed they get the aggression of it. Looks like they're going for the initiate. It certainly is, as CaoMei does get jumped on. He's gone for the counter-strike. It didn't quite work out as a reckless swing to take him. No, just an auto-attack after an undertow. LoveLin and Gogoing picking up that kill for the top lane.
Yeah. And in the middle lane, great work. Misaya there jumping on Cool, stacking up his Rift Walk and jumping in there, doing a huge amount of damage, forcing Cool out and getting them the control over this dragon to pick up that early game advantage. Now going to bring their lead, actually close that gold lead back to about 1,000 gold.
Yeah, he's just going to be backing off and picking up that blue. Bot lane actually backing off as well there for OMG, but what a lead picking up that blue. And I believe, did they just recently grab that dragon there? Or was that OMG?
No, WE managing to steal away the blue buff, and also pick up that dragon there as well. We can see LoveLin knows he's a little bit behind, just going to go pick up that red buff and most likely go back to that top lane. They've been focusing on that Jax a whole lot, and so far really working. He's about 25 CS behind at the moment. He's also about a level and a half behind, so really having a hard time in this early game. They don't want to leave him to free farm. He can get so scary. So I can definitely see that the focus from Gogoing and LoveLin is going to be in that top lane.
You know, LoveLin getting a bit of a one-up, sitting 2-0-1, so he's doing very well for his team, and his CS very equally sitting on Weiss. But he's put a lot of pressure on for Cool, actually, in the mid lane, so doing very well there as they're soon to be getting that down. Now, I just think it's very interesting that Olaf has picked up Australia's, considering he has Undertow to put down slows. Australia's, I mean, it just adds so much chase potential. I guess that's what he's going for, to make sure they can catch up to the disengage coming up from Whittle Leaders. We do see OMG Cool picking up a kill on Misaya. He actually got that perfect charm off as the minions finished off the mid turret as well.
Yeah, and great job here by OMG in the bot lane. bigpomelo and San able to start turning that advantage now that Corky's picked up that Sheen, doing a whole lot more damage with those ultimate rockets as well, and being able to force FZZF and WeiXiao back away from their turret in lane.
And there's that mid lane turret going down again. They've just got so much map control, and they're actually dealing with this game incredibly mechanically. That early pushing potential from Olaf working so well in lane now with the reckless swings. And there's a Crowstorm coming in, and actually a miss flash, I believe, going out from bigpomelo, or not necessarily. He was trying to get away from the turret damage and get away from the grab that FZZF was about to pull off. There's the Sonic Wave, making sure that WeiXiao backs out of that engage.
Yeah, and very good work at the moment from OMG, stretching their gold lead out with taking down those turrets. Still haven't let a turret of their own drop, and so far doing really well for global objectives. As we see Cool get jumped on, he will manage to... No, Misaya picks him up there. LoveLin jumping in, great work here from LoveLin, and...
Oh, Counter-Strike is going to stun out LoveLin. He's going to actually be able to flash and then do a bit of a safeguard with the ward away. Brilliant play out from there.
Yeah, very well done. We see Gogoing coming across, though. Very scary for CaoMei. He's a long way behind where Gogoing is at this stage, and with an Olaf behind you in lane, he's going to have nowhere to go, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Gogoing goes. Pops that ghost.
Certainly, with Gogoing sitting there, Ghost, he's just got so much to chase out CaoMei at this point. He can just continue beating up on this Jax no matter where he is on the map, rather, as they're still pushing in on these lanes. And the bot lane's starting to get a bit more aggressive as well for OMG. They haven't got too many other objectives that they can strictly focus on, except for that bot lane. I'm wondering if Fire's going to stick around there a little bit longer after grabbing that red.
Yeah, interesting to see. I actually didn't realise that... that the Australia's Revelry was picked up by Olaf there, something we don't see a whole lot. So it wasn't, in fact, the Ghost, it was the Australia's Revelry pop there by Gogoing. Interesting to see, not something you see a whole lot on Olaf, but taking it back to Season 1, Season 2, and just building whatever he feels like and doing well with it.
Looks like another turret dive going down for OMG. As we did say, they're putting a lot more pressure onto this turret. It's the last outer objective for them. There's the speed going on for Olaf, throwing out the Undertow after the regular swing, and finished off by Corky, getting a nice little ulti, a nice little missile barrage off.
And great work there from bigpomelo to get enough focus on him from the turret that he was actually able to tank that the entire time that that San was under the turret. Sorry.
Oh, LoveLin looking to isolate Troll, and it certainly has succeeded. He actually made sure that that Vault Breaker was not going to get him to safety, and a bit of that going down. It's certainly going to be a burst out from Ari, picking up the kill on Troll.
Yeah, very well done. Great work here from OMG, starting to snowball that advantage in a big way. We're at the moment 16.4 to 22.8k gold, so really, really big gold lead here, a long way ahead at 14 minutes.
Still sitting on a lot of the double Dorans for World Elite as they get the beatdown on them from OMG. They've got to go back, lick their wounds, move into that jungle and start taking objectives that way. They've still yet to take down a turret. Are they going to start grouping up a bit more because they have a lot of phenomenal burst on their side, but there's just a bit more scaling from OMG. I think World Elite have to start picking their fights a lot more carefully now.
Yeah, it's something we're going to have to see, and Dragon not too far away as well. I can definitely see that's going to be the next focus of OMG. They do have quite a bit of ward vision. You can see the bot tri-bush also in that Wraiths bush there, and they also have that bot lane shoved up, so a whole lot of focus on that vision, and they really can go for this Dragon if they want to, but it looks like they might try and freight train this middle lane.
Certainly, and they are starting to group up. Actually, no, nobody grouping up at this stage. There's the Deathfire Grasp out for Ari. The burst is starting to get just more and more phenomenal. We'll see who Misaya targets in the middle of team fights with his Q, with that Sphere to try and get the silence off. I believe Cool is going to be the center of attention for a lot of those fights, but I've got to say, Lee Sin is going to be able to dive in. He's leveled extremely well. He's sitting 3-0-3 in the game as well, so he's going to be able to take a lot more hits now, trying to focus out that Aegis for his team, get a bit more overall tankiness, and start turret diving even more. He's going to go for that safeguard. He's going to go, actually, I would think, for the shockwave into the dash, going for a dragon kick as well to displace a lot of those team fights.
Yeah, we do see OMG now focusing on that dragon. They obviously had that ward in the middle lane and saw 3 of them there, and it knew that they had enough time and enough vision to basically take that dragon uncontested and safely. So doing very well there. Snowballing out to 25k gold now. Gogoing in the top lane, just picking up that red buff to make CaoMei's life a little bit harder. So really, really well played so far on the side of OMG. WE also doing good work. You can see Ezreal at the moment having a lot of trouble. He's had a whole lot of focus from the other lanes. After about the 15-minute mark, they started a whole lot of...
a bit of a duel in the top lane. Going up against CaoMei. They are going to back out of it, though. The 2 tanky slugfests going on, and a bit... there's actually a bit of a mana loss coming in for Olaf at this point. And, of course, the auto attacks are still staying strong for CaoMei, so Gogoing being very careful, trying to bait CaoMei underneath the turret. There is his ult going out. Gogoing baiting CaoMei under the turret and successfully taking him down with a reckless swing.
And the best thing about that as well, Gogoing knowing that Cool was on his way up.
Crowstorm coming out actually in the mid lane. It doesn't quite hit anyone though. A bit misfired. They thought they could get Misaya off in one fell swoop.
Yeah, it's very hard to catch up on that Cassidy and very hard to close the gap on him. But very well done in the top lane. Cool and OMG in general. Their roams and their lane changes have been very, very successful, very well coordinated, and always going even or taking the advantage. As we see Gogoing, he's going to go into this 2v1 in the bottom lane and keep FZZF and keep FZZF and WeiXiao, sorry I'm not great with Chinese, away from that bot lane second turret.
Too many pushings going on everywhere over the map. There is that top lane going down to OMG in the mid lane. We do have Will Lee trying to focus it down. There we go. They are going to start backing off and seeing if they can protect their base. I have a feeling this is one easy inhibitor for OMG. No, they are backing out now that Will Lee have grouped up and continued back to their base.
But all in all there, a very successful trade for OMG. You'd taken out a turret for an inhibitor turret any day of the week. And really well done there from Gogoing to make sure he can be back and only let them take the advantages that they're willing to give up. So really well done. The gold lead at this stage stretched out.
Well, LoveLin actually get jumped on by a troll. We saw that assault and battery go off, trying to make opportunities for both the teams. It's OMG on the run right now. Are we going to see any CC picking up? But does look like Sun is... no, he's not in a bit of a bind. He's actually getting away just in time as the rest of OMG have grouped up to respond to this. Gogoing looking like he's going for an initiate with both Ghosts and Shurelias and missing it out against FZZF.
And at the moment, yeah, OMG just looking so scary. Already got the DFG finished on the side of Cool, and he's doing a great job there. 3-1-1, 3-0-3 for LoveLin as we see another engage.
Well, there's LoveLin trying to go ball steep against CaoMei. He certainly does do it, but he doesn't quite make it work for him. 2 already down for OMG, and they're on the escape. It looks like WeiXiao was way too good at chasing them out and then baiting a bit of damage, making sure Olaf goes down, and Sun is in a bit of trouble here as well. His troll is going to lock him down. He thought he might be able to get CaoMei in the last second of that fight, but he's just a bit too tanky.
A 4-for-0 there, soon to be a 5-for-0. There you go. Well done on the side of WE. Never say die attitude coming out there and managing to pick up the ace from such a long way behind. Closing that gold lead down to just about 5k. Coming a long way ahead in that fight. Really well done there from the side of WE.
Incredibly done, but of course OMG of course died onto that turret, and they took a lot of difficult positionings. World Elite used it to, used it to their advantage rather, and of course there was all of those speeds popped out by Gogoing. He couldn't use that to escape. At the end of the day, he made a gut decision to throw that out at the beginning of the fight. So I think they had a bit of trouble in their positioning. They couldn't keep tabs on where World Elite were once they'd returned to their jungle and gotten away from the initial fight. And yeah, from then on, it was just a difficult amount of positioning for them. They didn't quite get it. They didn't quite coordinate well in that one, I feel.
Yeah, and the pickup of the Shiraleas by Gogoing, obviously Shiraleas is a great item in team fights and that sort of thing, but not really allowing him to be the split push threat that Olaf needs to be. So at the moment he's picked up that Spirit Visage, so does have the tankiness that he needs, but not really putting out enough damage at this stage. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes with that build from here on out. We do see the Aegis picked up for LoveLin. We've also got the DFG and another NLR picked up for Cool. Triforce finished for Corki, and of course on the other side we've got Triforce finished for Ezreal, for WeiXiao as well. At so far not a whole lot of items finished for Misaya at the moment. He's a long way behind there, 137 to 178, and down on kills as well. And we see the Gauntlet finished for Vi and the Triforce for Jax as well. Jax is just huge at that Triforce peak, so be very interesting to see how the team fights work from here on out. Very evenly matched. Cool and Misaya probably the furthest apart in their respective roles at this point in time.
I'm wondering if OMG is going to be using that Olaf to act just like they've used Aatrox in the past, to bait out a lot of damage for their team, and hopefully wait for the Crowstorm to come in from bigpomelo. We are actually seeing a bit of a Baron pokey attempt from OMG, not quite committing to it, as they do know World Elite have a bit of a one-up on what they're doing. They will be able to bait out, destroy a lot of sight moving through the jungle here, and still continually pinging out the Baron. They believe they believe World Elite are backing away from this, and in fact a couple of them are.
Yeah, and the thing to note, at the moment FZZF doesn't have an Oracles, so the advantage is onto the side of OMG, and they've baited that Baron check, and now they're going to go for this inhibitor, and that is why that trade in the mid was so worthwhile. Going to manage to pick up a whole lot of damage, if not the inhibitor. Still going a little bit ham, does pick up WeiXiao.
CaoMei is moving into the middle of the fight, looking to get blood onto Sun, and there's Troll picking it up with the Assault and Battery. In the meantime, CaoMei has taken a lot of hits out from LoveLin, and Gogoing isn't quite able to take him down, but they are able to walk out of there with an inhibitor, and 1 for 2 in World Elite's favour.
Yeah, 1 for 2 at this stage in the game, as well as an inhibitor. OMG will still be happy to take this, but the thing they're going to have to worry about is the chase down from Misaya. He is able to do a whole lot of damage with those Riftwalk stacks, and CaoMei coming in here as well. This might be an ace on the side of WE.
There's the jump in from CaoMei. They do manage to pick off Gogoing. LoveLin staying in there and actually making the dive onto CaoMei. Gets the kill and flashes over to a ward. But Troll able to follow him very, very well, very cleanly, very quickly, and picking up the kill in kind as well. So that was a 1-for-1 trade in that tiny little exchange. Overall, there was a lot of kills coming out from World Elite, but again, that inhibitor did go down for OMG. That's going to give them a lot of pushing power and give them that much more control over Baron.
Yeah, it was a 4 for 2 overall after that entire fight, so not really what OMG was looking for. These team fights in the base of WE really getting WE back into this fight. Again, they were down a whole lot, back to about 5k gold difference, so really able to turn these advantages when they're able to get CaoMei in. You'll notice every time he jumps in with that stun, he's landing 3 or 4 targets, so really doing a great job on that Jax.
There we go, and the Dragon actually going down to OMG as well, as they're continuing to bring up this gold lead and continuing to take away sight from World Elite, who continue trying to get their ground back. They have to control that top lane. They're going to spend a lot of time there now that super minions are spawning. How long really until we see a Baron attempt or a final fight? I mean, there's still that gold advantage sitting on OMG. There's been a little bit of mitigation on that front from World Elite. They have farmed up quite well, and they've got those last couple of kills from a couple of rough engages from OMG, diving into a turret or getting a bit too close together as a team in the rest of World Elite's base, but now it looks they are doing the Baron dance once again.
And Cool catching the charm there onto Troll, doing a huge amount of damage, and the fight is joined. As we see OMG going ham there, Jax managing to get in there, get a whole lot of damage down. Gogoing, it will clean that one up. FZZF is going to flash that wall, and the Crowstorm hitting nothing, unfortunately. Cool still in the chase there. LoveLin, great shield from him, and it will finish there. Looks like a 3-for-1 for the side of WE. Doing very, very well there. OMG microing the damage in and out fantastically, and managing to pick up those couple of kills, shutting down the Jax, who, let's face it, has been doing such a huge amount of damage in these team fights.
Oh, a safeguard from LoveLin right back to Cool as he makes the jump on WeiXiao with that last Sonic Wave before, but he does jump out of there. They picked up the turret, not the inhibitors. They move back again, licking their wounds again, healing back up. Still not going for that Baron attempt, using their lead to pick up more map control. Yeah,
they're not wanting to go for the Baron because with only one inhibitor down, and the bot lane relatively open, and the mid lane relatively open, what they're planning to do, or what they want to do, is rather than take that Baron, they want WE to come and check that Baron and fight them for that Baron, and let them have the fight on their own terms. If they're able to get the fight on the Baron and have a win, they're then going to get the advantage from that. Whereas in the base of WE, OMG has not been successful in the past, so they don't want to take the Baron buff and go to WE's base. They want WE to come to them and fight them on their terms once bigpomelo's got them the side advantage with that Oracles.
So Gogoing has still got his speed up, and he's still taking up for his team. He's quite close to picking up Orlando and Zomas to try and deny a lot of the AD coming out from that Jax, coming out from that Israel, but they're still playing a bit of a back and forth. They're still playing a farm fest, and just look at that farm. 215 sitting on both Ari and Israel actually on either side, but a lot of farms sitting on Ari from that 524, over 10k, highest in the game at this point. I believe actually it may be on Olaf. It's hiding the gold from me at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at Olaf 10.8 at the moment, doing really, really well. 10.8k and sorry, 10.6k, and doing really, really well. A little bit of bugs with the Chinese client, guys. Bear with us. We do see at the moment OMG forcing this Baron, and WE are aware of this. They will check it with the Ezreal.
Oh, they've got it. They've got it, they're going to move in, they're going to see if they can take that last fight. There's Gogoing, throwing out the Shuralias, throwing out the Ghost, and seeing if he can catch someone off guard. He's caught CaoMei, he's slowed him. In the meantime, Troll and Misaya taking out Ari on OMG's side, actually, so not looking good for them early in the fight. It looks like Troll's going to be the next center of attention. bigpomelo going down very quickly as well. Their positioning was just not as great versus World Elite. OMG going to get taken out. Very mechanically followed up by World Elite. Focusing on Gogoing, they got a bit too close. Down goes Jax in the meantime as well. A 5-for-1 exchange with an incredible Baron from OMG, but they just couldn't follow up on it after they had that displacement. They lost their Ari very early on in the fight. Cool was just a bit displaced. The ult didn't go out either. It was just a stun lock with the Assault and Battery coming out from Troll.
Yeah, and something to note as well, every time that OMG is able to engage on WE, they turn the engage so well with the Zyra ultimate, with Troll's ultimate, the Assault and Battery through the ranks, and Misaya just roof walking in and out and in and out, doing a huge amount of damage and never really letting OMG get the positioning they want. And as well as that, we saw CaoMei and Misaya jump the wall there and get onto San early, making him Valkyrie out of the fight. And as we said, Ari was already dead. San's the only remaining damage dealer really on the side of OMG, and from then on it's all in favour of WE in that fight.
So is there anyone left with Baron at this point? Let's do a bit of a check. I'm pretty sure not, because it wasn't Ace actually. So let's just not pay attention to that, as I'm still trying to get back into the game there. There is a little bit of lag. Still trying to get the stream back up and operating. Here we go.
Yeah, and we're looking on the side of both Lee Sin and Olaf. Olaf going for more a tank build. He has picked up that Randuin's. We've got the Locket on the side of Lee Sin as well. So with both the Shuralias and the Locket, obviously very focused on those team fights, but at the moment just not able to execute in those team fights. Not able to play protect the Ari and protect the Corki well enough at this stage. Big Pomelo really needs to get those fears off at a better time onto targets like CaoMei and WeiXiao.
Nearly a grab coming off from FZZF as we may be looking at another fight being forced out by OMG. They're being very, very aggressive with the lead that they gained before, and certainly not happy with losing that last fight and the RA just getting taken out at the very, very beginning there. It's still a dance back and forth, but the jungle is very much theirs. The rest of the base is looking very much there. Soon there's the jump of Vaultbreaker over the wall into the assault and batteries. Big Pomelo is focused down. He doesn't have time to throw out the Crow Storm, and he isn't getting it out again. Now Gogoing trying to jump on CaoMei. A follow-up from Cool. They do find him. They do get the kill. WeiXiao forced to back out of there. It is a 1-for-0 exchange in favor of OMG right now. FZZF is in the middle of that fight. Misaya jumping back in, getting taken down by Pure Burst, and OMG is looking quite low, but it looks like FZZF is a bit out of place there. Down goes Vi as well, with WeiXiao getting jumped on right at the end. There's a lot of AoE going out from World Elite at that point, but they couldn't quite follow it up.
5 for 1, and you look at those portraits on the right hand side, 4 flashing portraits, microing that damage at the end so well on the side of OMG. This is the advantage that they've needed. They've got the inhibitor. LoveLin taking a couple of turret hits, having a bit of a laugh. They know that they've still got about 10 seconds. They are going to get both these turrets, and this could be the game.
It certainly is the game, and it's only game number 1 out of a best of 3 for this grand final, so don't go away just yet. We're going to have game number 2 back up as soon as possible. Let's have a little bit of a recap. What exactly happened in that game, Rockmar?
Well, what we saw was basically letting the Jax pick through to try and counter it with that Olaf. Olaf actually going very, very tanky and not really being a force in that split push lane. But at the moment, really, it all comes down to those team fights where OMG just weren't able to get the team fights that they needed. And every time that they seem to engage, the Zyra disengage, and you've got CaoMei and FZZF sort of splitting out their targets.